Good morning students, I welcome you all for the online class of economics. Today we will be having the class of infrastructure. Inflation, I had just given an introduction so that any question in cross it will be asked related to inflation, though it is not in the syllabus, it has been taken out, but the chapter is very important. Inflation, if any cross question can be asked, you can give the answer, and the basic information which I provided in the videos, that is needed to be known to you people. Now we will be going to learn the infrastructure chapter, which is our next chapter. So this infrastructure chapter, infrastructure, we know the basic necessities and facilities which is needed for survival of our life. It is known as infrastructure. Like for example, roads, dam, bridges, these are considered as the infrastructure. The structure, the things which makes our country to be completed, that makes the sense infrastructure. So let us see what the infrastructure development we have gained after the independence until now. We will be seeing this in this particular chapter, infrastructure. So in infrastructure chapter, let us proceed. First of all, we will be going to learn the meaning, then we will be going to learn the types of infrastructure, importance of infrastructure, the state of infrastructure in India. Energy, we will be going to learn sources of energy and consumption, that is needed to know, because energy not from the point of view, science point of view. Energy is needed because if we will be not knowing the concept of this type of energy, we cannot assume the progress and development from this type of energy resources. So how much income we can generate from this type of energy resource, what is the development, what is the future aspect from this type of resources, the business can be done, that all is needed to be known. For that, this type of energy we will be going to learn, and then we will be going to learn the health hazards and everything regarding to infrastructure. So let us proceed with the infrastructure meaning, students. Infrastructure, as I already introduced to you people. Now the infrastructure facility according to the book, the support system on which the efficient of a modern industrial and agriculture economy, trade and commerce depends. It is known as infrastructure facilities. Okay. So working of a modern industrial and agriculture economy depends generally on infrastructure. We all know, because without transport we cannot think of the business. Without the banks and insurance company we cannot think of the business. This all constitute in the infrastructure facilities. So let us proceed with the after the meaning. Concept of infrastructure, when we come to know, it refers to the basic supporting structure which is built to provide different kinds of services in an economy. The main motive of infrastructure is to provide services to the economy. Infrastructure installation do not directly produce goods but help in promoting production activities in an economy. Examples of infrastructure are transport, communication, banking, power, etc. Types of infrastructure, when we go, there are two types of infrastructure, students. Very first, economic infrastructure, second, social infrastructure. When we go with the economic infrastructure, all the infrastructure which helps us to do the business activities, it will be considered in the economic infrastructure. Like for example, roads, rails, ports, airports, water, sewage, etc. And social infrastructure, when we see, student, it includes all those housing, education, recreation, means exercise areas, law and order facility that support the community's need for social interactions, means where the people can go have a gathering and can interact with each other with their social satisfaction, means self-satisfaction of their activities. So there is known as social infrastructure. So basically there are two infrastructure types. Very first, economic, and which is related to our topic, and the second is social infrastructure, which is indirectly related to our economics. So let us see the types of infrastructure deeply. The difference between them is given in table number 9.1. Difference between economic and social infrastructure, we can see. Economic infrastructure, when we see, it directly supports the economic system. It helps the economic system from inside. Social infrastructure, when we see, they indirectly support the economic system. It helps the economic system from outside. Example of economic infrastructure are energy, transport and communication, whereas social infrastructure examples are health, education and housing. Economic infrastructure, when we see, it improves the quality of economic resources and thus raises the production activity, whereas social infrastructure, when we see, it improves the quality of human resources and thus improve the efficiency of manpower. Expenditure on it will raise the stock of physical capital. Economic infrastructure when we say, social infrastructure when we see, expenditure on it will raise the stock of human capital. Economic infrastructure will raise the process of economic growth, whereas social infrastructure will raise the process of human development. So that is the difference between economic and social. In a mere way, if we want to see, economic infrastructure is must for our need for satisfaction, whereas social infrastructure is just additional which will satisfy ourselves from internally. That is social infrastructure. Like health, education, that will give us confidence before someone. So that type of infrastructure areas will develop something in us from internally which will satisfy us. Whereas economic is must, everyone have to be in this particular part. It improves the quality of economic resources of our life, but there will develop the quality of human resource. As our generation after generation, we are seeing development just because of education and good health and all those. So that infrastructure is considered as social infrastructure. So that is the basic development differences between economic and social infrastructure. Now we will proceed with the both economic and social infrastructure are completely complementary to each other. Both are needed for economic development of a country. Economic infrastructure without social infrastructure has no meaning. Also some social infrastructure without economic infrastructure is meaningless. We know very well. Social infrastructure without economic infrastructure, we cannot think it is meaningless, because to fulfill the social infrastructure we need the economic infrastructure to be developed. Importance of infrastructure when we see, student, the importance of infrastructure is not new and not known to us, like it is not there, because we know, because without roads, energy, powers, we cannot survive our life. It is needed, it is must for our life now. It is a part of our life. Developed infrastructure is an essential precondition for economic development of a country. It can be explained from the following points. Very first, raises the productivity. The prosperity of a country directly depends upon the development of agriculture and industrial production. That we know from the very beginning when we start learning economics, that any countries, how much the progress is done can be known from the good infrastructure what they are having or possessing, like good roads, good airways, transport facilities, that will help to know how good the country's infrastructure economic development had been made. So it raises the productivity, and for the raising the productivity of a country, we know infrastructure is must. So agriculture production requires power, credit, transport facilities. We all know from the beginning time, the deficiency of which lead to fall in productivity. Definitely when roads are not there, proper transportation facilities are not there, we cannot think of having a productivity, and as well as after productivity we cannot think of sailing off. So it is must. Industrial production requires machinery and equipment, energy, banking and insurance facilities, marketing facilities, transport services, which include railways, roads and shipping and communication facility, etc. This is from the industrial point, we know it is needed. So what we are thinking there, agriculture and industry are the basic occupation of our country, and both are dependent on the infrastructure, because without infrastructure we cannot think of both the activities to be done or succeed. So for that, definitely if agriculture and industry area, we need productivity to be raised, increased, so that more and more productivity will lead to more and more income, and more income will lead again another time more and more investment in our country, more profit situation. So for that all, what is needed, infrastructure is needed. Provides employment. Definitely when so many means of infrastructure we are seeing for making it, peoples will be required, and it will be creating job opportunities for the people. So infrastructure is the main source of employment for the large labor force of our economy. Large labor force which were unemployed till now will be getting an opportunity, and had got the opportunity in many of the job areas, irrespective of remaining as unemployed. Induces FDI, foreign direct investment. Definitely a well-developed infrastructure attracts foreign investors who hesitate to invest in a country which lacks basic facilities like transportation, banking, insurance, etc. So if this foreign direct investment had to be brought down in our country, definitely good infrastructure is needed. So that is another important of infrastructure. This we can take an example. If we people also want to start a business, we people want to get a building to be constructed for self living, we will search a particular place where already infrastructure is developed, nice playgrounds is there, nice roads are there, transportation facility must be in a mere minute of time we can reach the railways, airports. Likewise the area we search, same is for the foreigners also. If they also want to do investment here, definitely they require infrastructure to be developed. So that is the importance of infrastructure. Next, induces the foreign direct, raises ability to work. Social infrastructure increases the quality of life workers, thereby increasing their efficiency. Educational institutions, healthcare facilities, etc. promote skill formation. It raises ability to work and efficiency of the people. That is the work of infrastructure, that it raises the ability to work. Facilitates outsourcing. Only a country having modern infrastructure become a center for outsourcing. India is emerging as a global destination for all kinds of outsourcing, owing largely to its sound base of social and economic infrastructure. It helps to develop a good infrastructure there. So it facilitates outsourcing, means BPO and other type of development is done in our country just because of good infrastructure. It is emerging as a global destination for all kinds of outsourcing activity to be taken from our country. So infrastructure is having a great importance for our country's development and progress. Sixth importance of infrastructure is raises the size of the market. When we see there, the definitely infrastructure, when we are seeing so many activities are included in the infrastructure, there are separate from each other, definitely the market share will be more. With the development of transport and communication facilities, size of the market will grow. The sale and purchase of various goods and services become possible even from distant places also. So that is it raises the size of the market when we talk about the infrastructure facility. With the development of transport and communication facility, size of the market will also grow, and the sale and purchase of various goods and services become possible even from distant places also. Raises the economic development, students. Agriculture depends to a considerable extent on the adequate expansion and development of irrigation facilities. Industrial progress depends on the development of power and electricity generation, transport and communication. Obviously, if proper attention is not paid to the development of infrastructure, it is likely to act as an obstacles in the path of economic development. So, definitely infrastructure will act as an economic development for our country. It raises economic development because we learned in the previous points that if good infrastructure is there, definitely it will attract the foreigners to do more investment, as well as it will also help the country's progress and development. Businessman and agriculture activities can be expanded only when a good infrastructure is there. So it will make the more profit to our countries, peoples and business. Definitely infrastructure is having a vital role in our lives. Next is the state of infrastructure in India. The state of infrastructure in India is traditionally the government has been solely responsible for developing the country's infrastructure. We know when we state the state of infrastructure in India, traditionally from the independence time, if you want to know, that is explained in this particular paragraph. It was found that the government's investment infrastructure was inadequate. They were not having that much amount of money that was needed for the development of our structure. That was a problem of the government, because government has not to do one activity, they are having many activities. With the development of infrastructure, they have to run the public sector companies, as well as they have to make the development of the agricultural areas, they have to make the development of every region. So all this is not possible for them because budget is needed for maintaining all those things, and that time government was finding inadequate to develop the infrastructure. Today, the private sector by itself and also in joint partnership with the public sector has started playing a very important role in the infrastructure development. We ourselves know, if a company is to be settled in a village area, instead of taking the help from the government, they first step in to make some infrastructure development of that area. They find the area is good for their business, so they make the development of that areas, and that way they are helping the government. It can be done in the partnership also, that government plus private sector both are making and helping the development of infrastructure for our parts of the many parts of the areas of our country. Though it is widely understood that infrastructure is the foundation of development, India invests only 5% of the GDP on infrastructure. Means the tax which is cut out so that development of our country can be done. Only 5% of its GDP on infrastructure is spent. As compared to this, China invests 20%, Indonesia invests 40% of GDP on infrastructure. By seeing this, our ministers also started now more investment in the development of infrastructure, because as we attain so many points that if infrastructure is developed, so much progress and of our country can be done, and every country wants their progress definitely, and for that definitely the 5% have to be increased. So now it has been increased there. A majority of people live in rural areas. The state of rural infrastructure in India are as follows. Very first, rural women are still using biofuels such as crop residues, dung and fuel wood to meet their energy requirement. But if I will be talking about these biofuels, now it has been replaced by the gas cylinders. A few years back, government has changed that subsidies will be deducted from the people who can pay the full amount of the particular gas cylinder, and that subsidies will be given to that people who were having the biofuels at their home. In that way, the government had made the infrastructure to be changed of those areas where biofuels were used. Okay, they find it was also for the pollution point also it is not good, so because of that it has been replaced by the gas cylinders. So this is now current I am telling, that was the previous time when there was no infrastructure development. They walk long distances to fetch fuel, water and other basic needs. Definitely woods were needed to burning the biofuels, and many things are needed that is not easily available in their surroundings. So they walk long distance to get all those things. Now it is easily available. Irrigation facilities provided by government, so that easily the water will be supplied to home to home, door to door. So that has been changed now. Infrastructure from 5% it has been increased now. Not at the time of independence it was 55%, now it has been changed. The census 2001 showed that in rural India only 56% households have an electricity connection and 43% still use kerosene. About 90% of the rural households are use biofuels for cooking. Tap water availability is limited to only 24% of rural households. About 76% of the population drinks water from open sources such as wells, tanks, ponds, lakes, rivers, canals, etc. But now it has been developed. Now you can see in your own houses the water supply facilities there, both in the private as well as public sector. Both side facilities has been provided. Clean water facilities provided by the government. So it has been developed. It has been uplifted by the government. Another study conducted by the National Sample Survey Organization noted that by 1996, access to improve sanitation in rural areas was only 6%. Now it has been changed. So these all the state of infrastructure in India was there. Basically it point out about the 5% GDP on infrastructure development. Now we will be going to learn the energy resources which are a part of infrastructure. Let us see what is the energy there. As I said, if we will learn the energy, then only we can come to know what business we can do from this energy resource, what are the future aspects of the business from this energy resources. For that, we must know about the science of energy. Energy, the power. It is a critical aspect of development process of a nation. It is essential for industries, agriculture, related areas like transportation of finished goods. It is also used for domestic purpose like cooking, lighting, heating, etc. Sources of energy, when we see energy is classified into two resources. Very first, commercial source of energy. Second, non-commercial source of energy. When we go with the commercial source of energy, student, there are that source of energy which will get exhausted one of the time, because they take time for production. But as we are using it, it will get exhausted one day, definitely. Non-commercial source of energy are those source of energy which can be generated again. So, commercial source of energy are coal, petroleum, and electricity has their about and sold account for over 50% of all energy sources consumed in India. Non-commercial source of energy are firewood, agricultural waste, and dried dung. These are non-commercial as they are found in nature, forest. While commercial source of energy are generally exhaustible with the exception of hydropower, non-commercial sources are generally renewable. It can be renewed, it can be formed in a short period of time as compared to commercial source of energy. It can be generated. More than 60% of Indian household depends on traditional source of energy for meeting their regular cooking and heating needs. As I said, it has been changed now because now in the household sectors it is less use. Gas cylinder has replaced the place of biofuels. The difference between commercial and non-commercial source of energy, let us see. Commercial source and non-commercial source, student. Commercial source, when we go, they command a price and the users have to pay a price for them. Definitely commercial source, they command a price. Why they command a price? Because there are exhaustible resource. One day they will get exhausted, and as the way we are using it, or you can say misutilizing it, it can get exhausted very soon. So they command a price and the user have to pay a price for them. And non-commercial source, they are free and command no price. But now government, all the things has been gone in the custody of government. Even the forest area, if we want to use it, definitely we have to take permission from the government. So it is not easy to take the woods for burning and for cooking purpose and everything. So it is not so much free nowadays. They are generally exhaustible except hydropower. There are renewable source of energy, non-commercial source. Most commercial source, when we see, it is used in production process, whereas non-commercial source, when we use, it is mostly used for domestic purposes, self-satisfaction purpose, or your non-commercial source of energy, it is utilized there. Examples of commercial source are coal, petroleum, and electricity, whereas non-commercial source examples we take vegetables, waste, firewood, and dried dungs. Let us see the conventional and non-conventional source of energy, the next part of the energy which is needed by us. Conventional source of energy, student, after the commercial source. Conventional source of energy include both commercial and non-commercial source of energy. Okay, it includes both the conventional source, example natural gas as well as coal, petroleum, etc. Non-conventional source of energy, whereas when we see, it is that source of energy which are renewable resource of energy like biomass, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, etc. The difference between conventional and non-conventional source of energy we can see in this class only. Next class we will go with the non-conventional source of energy as well. Conventional source, when we see, student, these are being used since a very long, has different sources of commercial energy are there. Non-conventional source, when we see, these are being used as different source of energy to a very little extent. There is an effort to develop them as source of commercial energy. Okay, non-commercial we have to develop, like solar energy. It has to be installed, then only we can take the benefit of solar rays which we are getting 12 months in a year. This source of conventional source, when we see, this source is being used in total disregard to our environment. Okay. Non-conventional, they have to check the pollutions because it generally not create so much pollution as compared to conventional source. So conventional source requires definitely this source is being used in total disregard of our environment. Like example, coal, petroleum, and electricity. Whereas non-conventional, when we see, it is solar energy, wind energy, biomass, tidal energy, etc. Next class we will be taking more about the tidal energy, solar energy deeply. For today's class, this much only. Thank you and have a nice day. Some of the classes we will have the live classes also. In that we can have the doubt clearance of the students regarding any of the topic. So whatever doubt you are having, keep it there. From next week onward, we will have some of the live classes also for each subjects of ours. Thank you and have a nice day.